Hey everybody, welcome to A Bit of Birdsong. My name is Lynn. I wanted to show you real quickly something I made. I think it's cute, it's kind of rustic. I was fussy cutting some images from some book pages they're really from one of my favorite books. It's a grammar book. I think it was called The Transitive Vampire. I used to actually refer to it back in my typing days in the hospital. But now when I see one in a thrift store or whatever, I love it just for the book pages. I wanted some places to write in my journals where I could keep the entry hidden. And I decided to make a really simple trifold envelope. I quit fussy cutting and decided to use some of the book pages whole because they are such beautiful book pages, with all of these Gothic illustrations, just absolutely beautiful. And then they have sentences and things to show you how to actually use words correctly and punctuation. A woman's place is on the roam, which I think is really funny. So what I did was cut the book pages down to, these ended up being 5¼ inches by 8 inches. And then I did this one first, and I put this really bright paper on the inside, but then I thought, I'm not going to be able to write on this unless I use something like a white jelly roll or something like that. I definitely want something that I can write on, without having to use the white pen. So I found some stationery paper that's got the really pretty botanical images. You can see the ferns and the little petals. And I cut, I had 6 book pages, so I cut 6 pieces of paper to perfectly fit on the insides of these. Then I glued them down, folded it, cut these corners, and then I took my X-Acto knife to cut a little place where it can tuck in and stay put, if that makes sense. Now these are still a little bit damp from the glue, but I think this is probably the best one as far as really fitting down in there. It took a few tries to say, oh, this is the best way to do this. But even the ones with the wider flaps with the shorter, tuck spot underneath, they still work out. And aren't they just so adorable? I think I could fold this one down a tiny bit more while it's still damp. And then I took a stencil and made just a pretty mark on there. They're going to be really pretty in my journal, and it'll give me a place to write where the entry is hidden so that I can flip through my books and show people, but they can't see the journal entries if they're private. I think that butterfly was still just a little bit damp, so I'm not going to close that one yet. This is the only one. I got busy reading what this was saying, and I took off this way with the X-Acto knife, so I ended up having to put some masking tape on that. But it's fine. It's perfectly fine. I thought I would save the last one so that we can do it together. And I'll show you how I did this. So here is another really pretty old illustration. We're going to take plenty of glue. That's probably enough. And we'll just spread that around all over the page. Got to make sure we get out to the edges. And of course that ends up running the glue over to the page I have in the background to protect the desktop. These are just really fun, quick things to make to use in your journals. It's a way to use up book pages, it's a way to use up scrapbook paper, and it does turn into a really fun place to write. And you can tuck them into pockets, you can put them under belly bands, you can clip them in with paper clips or bulldog clips or anything like that, or just tuck them into the journal. Now for this part, you do want to be careful to make sure your corners are lined up perfectly. It's not the end of the world if you don't, but it's better if they do line up. And then I'm going to take my bone folder and run across it and get any extra glue out. Oh, I hear Jason. So let's do that all over. So there's that. I really like that. I'm going to take a plain piece of paper to put this on since I've ended up getting some glue on here. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to cause this to stick to the paper and then tear it. Now you notice on this one, I had a sharper angle, which made it close easier and stay closed better. And I ended up getting that by going lower down and making this more narrow. So let's just try this. Still got that glue in there. It's no wonder I can't keep sharp scissors. So to get the corner cut exactly the same on the other side, just flip this over and use that as your, like a little template. And that should be just about right. And then I'm gonna go kind of around the edge and just distress a little bit. This thing has seen better days. This is actually a blender that came with my Faber-Castell gelatos, and I never really used it for that. So I've been using it just like a little brush to distress things, but I think it's getting to the point where little pieces are starting to roll off of it, but that's okay. Just distress that. And then for the part where we cut the little slit to put the top in, I'm going to fold this up and then fold that down just like an envelope or a little piece of trifold stationery. And I'm going to take a pencil and my little ruler, which I have here, and I'm going to try to do it in between these sentences so we can still read. I want enough of this going into that flap that it really stays. So I'm going to make a little mark on this side and a little mark on this side. And then of course we're going to open it all the way up because we don't want to cut through 2 layers. We just want the little slit right here. I'm going to lay my ruler down again and then run my X-Acto from the first mark to the second mark. And that's just perfect. And then somewhere, yeah, we've got a good eraser here, so that will just erase those little marks. There we go. And so that will tuck right under there and stay. But one of the most fun parts, is funnest a word? So we have that one. You see how the butterfly covered her up. She was not properly clothed. I've just been grabbing, you know, little stencils, whatever I thought would be cute. And these they stay closed pretty good. We have the little hearts here, and we have hearts on this one, and a butterfly on this one, and then a butterfly on this one. Got this line stuck to my fingernail. So is there anything, okay, a lot of this is really dark, so I don't know that we might have to go with gold again. Gold has a way of, it almost looks like some sort of, it looks old. It looks like just an antique embossing or something. It has a way of fitting in, and I think we'll just do this one. And I'm just gonna hold the stencil and fill up all the empty spaces. I remember the first time I tried a stencil and I just brushed over the top, and of course that doesn't work because you end up going under the edges. And this is not the right kind of brush. You're really supposed to use a stenciling brush, I think, but since this stencil is so small, maybe it'll work. Yeah, that's fine. So that's really modest comes to mind, but it's kind of low key. It fits in there. Anyway, these were just turning out so cute. I definitely wanted to turn the camera on and show you how they turned out, how easy they are, so when they completely dry, I'll be able to write my entries in here. Of course, not all at one time, but they're so sweet. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and take these inside in my little art bag. We're going to be eating soon, so I'm going to go in and I will probably use one of these tonight. And I'll definitely show you how I put it into the journal. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this inspired you to use up your supplies and to not worry about things being too complicated. This is just the most simple design. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.